Hello, so we're going to try to get going on day 27 of blueprints. I've got my notebook, my Google Sheets is open. Now I will say this, I tried to, with the screenshots I'm taking and putting in the Google Sheets, I haven't found the ideal way to like magnify those. I increased the zoom in Google Sheets and I increased the zoom of the Google browser tab that the Google Sheets is hosted in, but then it loses resolution in the process of being, increased in size. So, plus, some of these things are designed to interact with the magnifying glass, meaning that even if I had a real real world magnifying glass and I put it over an area in a screenshot that I took, it's not going to reveal the information that the in-game blueprints magnifying glass would reveal, because basically they put some scribble art, and then I think and then of course it's programmed to detect that, if you're using the magnifying glass, instead of giving you a magnification of the scribble art, we're going to give you this alternate piece of art that is in essence the enhanced version of this piece of the picture. But it's really not. It's a replacement. It's a large replacement picture for the scribble art stand-in in the original piece. So we will need. So even though I've tried to increase size of images and look for clues, nothing's going to replace the fact that we will need to get a magnifying glass and reread some of these books multiple times with a magnifying glass in order to tease out a lot of those surface level clues. And then there's other clues that come from like the words, the rhyming words in the book or whatever, and it's like, figure out the puzzle of the hidden in the words, and that's different. That's a different level of clue, a deeper level of clue that I can work on, and I am working on. I haven't made progress on in many cases. So that's where we are with kind of the notes. But again, the Google Sheets where I'm keeping screenshots and other collated notes is linked in the description to this video if you wish to see any of that or follow along at all. And if not, by all means, skip it. All right, let's do day 27. We have bought some nice books. We have read a couple of them, screenshotting the pages as we read them. We do want to buy more books, but we also want to revisit reading those books with a magnifying glass. All right, so pick up our 5 coin allowance, starting with 2 gems because of the Gemstone Cavern. I had my fortune yesterday from the Rumpus Room, and it said I was missing something over here, but nothing over here is clickable. So that might be at some future date there'll be something here that's, retrievable. But it definitely showed this thing and said, there's a missing item. I'm like, really? What missing item? Anyway, let's go pick our outbuilding for the day. We want to do ballroom. We want to do more classrooms. We want to do library. We want to do furnace, but really only if we can get the freezer near the furnace. I failed at that a couple of days. There was a couple of days back, a couple of game days back. I had both the furnace and the freezer in the estate, but the freezer wasn't quite close enough to the furnace to melt everything. It melted some things, but not everything. Yeah, well, do we want more classrooms? We'd have to get, at this point, I've taken screenshots of the classrooms 1 through 4. So we would have to do classrooms 5, 6, 7, and 8 for it to be really beneficial. Shrine. Don't know about the blessing we would receive. It's kind of random. Special floor plans cost additional feet instead of gems. That could be helpful. I'm going to go Schoolhouse Strat again. I really want to see classrooms 5, 6, 7, and 8, you know, so I'm going to like make kind of hard push for that today. Just making sure there's nothing extra to pick up. There generally isn't in here. There is this within a timely manner phrase where manner is spelled like the estate versus, you know, the way it should be spelled in that expression. We've noted that before, like we've noticed that before, and made mental note of it and written it down in our notebook. Okay, so again, we're doing classroom. We didn't do shrine. We maybe should have done shrine. We didn't do hovel. We maybe should have done hovel, but I didn't do. I'm choosing a classroom strat. Okay, so we like the library to start off with, definitely, because we've definitely got books we want to read and keep reading. And key, nice. We need this History of Arindia first edition. We want to definitely read this. And this may not require as much magnifying glass work as like a New Clue does. A New Clue definitely requires magnifying. Going back to it with a magnifying glass, maybe this one won't. Who knows? But we'll request this book. Now, interesting thing is, because we got this library without the reading nook, chances are pretty high that we're going to encounter a reading nook and be able to draft a second library and therefore be able to read this same book in this same day. We've been able to do that a couple days in a row, like day 24 and I think, or day 26 and 25 or 24 or something. We've been able to get the library twice, which means we've been able to request a book and then read that book in the same day, or sometimes read a book that we previously requested and then request the next book, right? So if it gives us a library early on, before it gives us the reading nook, then chances are high that we're going to encounter a reading nook at some later point and get a second library. And that's not a bad thing when we're got a strat of wanting to read books. It's a good thing. All right, we've only got 2 gems, and every classroom is going to cost a gem. But we have to start somewhere. So I'm probably not going to get coins to buy a book, so we're not going to do a bookshop, but we will do the first classroom. Now this will require, I don't really have much to, if it looks like I'm not really paying attention to a lot in here, I've been in this classroom quite a few times. So this is just basically, I got to get through multiple classrooms. I could do my next classroom. And then I'll be out of gems. But honestly, well, or I could do coins and hope for a commissary that will let me buy gems. But I'm going to do the classroom. Because we said we were going to do a classroom strat, so We want we want to take classrooms as we can get them. Make sure there's no extra items, extra gem, reroll die, coins or anything. I don't think there is. Okay. Definitely need a parlor because I definitely need more gems. Every classroom is going to cost me a gem right now unless I do something special. See, I was not able to do the hovel and the schoolhouse. If I didn't do here's the deal. If I didn't do the schoolhouse, I wouldn't be seeing classrooms at all. To my recollection, and therefore my knowledge, okay, it is classrooms do not appear in the draft pool for the estate at all unless I draft the schoolhouse first. And since the school, I can only have one outer room, I can't have the schoolhouse and the hovel in the same day. So if I got the hovel, yeah, I could use extra footsteps instead of gems to get into special rooms. And the classroom's a special room, costing a gem, and therefore, would cost footsteps instead of gems. But the problem is without the schoolhouse, if I do the hovel, I can't do the schoolhouse. And if I don't do the schoolhouse, I won't see the classrooms at all. So that was the trade-off there, was if I want to do classrooms, I have to now chase gems for the rest of the day, like normal. But the parlor is an easy way to get 2 gems if I do not screw up the logic puzzle. I've only screwed it up once, and that was when I was really, really tired, and I knew the answer and still picked the wrong box. Because I was so tired, and I forgot which box I read which statement from. But anyway, okay, the gems are in the black box. That is true or false. Only one box displays a true statement. That's either true or false. So here's the thing. The gems are in the white box. That's either true or false. So I'll be right back. This is not a hard one, but I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. Okay, per the stated rules of the parlor, which if you don't recall are right here, right? There will always be at least one box which displays only true statements. There will always be at least one box which displays only false statements. Only one box has a prize within, the other 2 are always empty, right? So those are the standing rules of the parlor. So with that in mind, at least one of these boxes has to be false. One of them has to be true, one of them has to be false, and then the third box could be either true or false and still be within the rules of the game. The gems are in the black box. If this is false, because one of these has to be, at least one of these has to be false. So if this is false, then only one box displays a true statement, and this says the gems are in the white box. Well, then if this is false, then okay. only one box displays a true statement. If this is true, then this is the only true box. That's the way. Well, I'm going to back up and we're going to start here because this is the way to think about this. Only one box displays a true statement. If this is true, because the choices are either one box displays a true statement or two boxes display a true statement. It can't be that three boxes display a true statement, and it can't be that zero boxes display a true statement. So it's either one or two. So if this is false, then the other two boxes have to be true. Because if this is false, this is not true. But if this is false, then it has to be that two boxes display a true statement. Since there's only two other boxes, both of those would have to be true. So if this is false, both of those are true. Okay? If this is true, then both of those have to be false. Okay? So the truth or falsehood of both of these boxes is the inverse of this statement here. Okay? False, true, and true. True, false, and false. Okay. This says the gems are in the black box. The gems are in the white box. Well, these can't both be true. Okay? Well, if these can't both be true, then we are living in the world where they are both false. Okay? Because this can't be true at the same time that this is true. Right? So, if only one of these was true, okay? If one of these was true and the other one was false, then this, if one of these was true and the other was false, this says only one box displays a true statement. Well, if this is false, or if this is true, then neither of those boxes could be true, right? If this is false, then two boxes have to be true, but we just said that one, that would be one of these is false and the other one is true. So that can't be correct either, right? So it can't be the case that one of these is false and the other one is true. And it obviously can't be the case that they're both true because they're contradictory. Okay? So they must therefore both be false. So if those are both false, then this is the only true statement. Only one box displays a true statement, and is this box right here. So if this is false, and it says the gems are in the white box. So the gems are not in the white box. Okay? This is false. The gems are in the black box. Well, the gems aren't in the black box. Okay? Because this has to be false. So the gems are not in the white box because this has to be false. The gems are not in the black box because this has to be false. So therefore, by process of elimination, the gems must be in the blue box. Boom, boom. Right? I hope everybody followed that. I mean, it was probably obvious for you. We are going to do... Well, we're going to do commissary and hope. We're going to do commissary and hope that it's selling gems today and that we can get enough money to buy gems. That's what we're hoping. Okay? Because we want to do a bunch of classrooms. Oh, it's not going to let me through this door. Well, that sucks. And not selling gems. So given that it's not selling gems, we're going to buy a magnifying glass because, in case when we get that second library and we read the book, even though, or we could get well, no, we can't afford a sledgehammer. So we're going to get a magnifying glass. Maybe come back later with more coins for a sledgehammer. But right now I can't get through that door. Well, that sucks. So that means I'm going to have to wind back through here and go head out this way. And I can't buy gems today. So I might not get all the classrooms that I want. So, yeesh. It hurts. It hurts to be stymied early on. Access card, like early on. Like this is really early to have an access card door. And we'll never get to this, you know, space here. So before I go here, I'm going to go over here. Reading nook. We like to see the reading nook because it's going to give us that second library, right? Also gives us a key. But now we're going to get the library and we're going to get to read. Yep. Now all of our hopes will be on this one spot here because we want people to go here. So it is what it is, but we better do the library now. If day 27 ends up being super short, that's on me. And I'll apologize profusely for wasting everybody's time. And oh, sorry, I don't need to examine that. All I came up here to do was, again, make sure there's no extra key, extra gem, extra coins, extra chest up here. There never is. There never is anything up here other than these, you know, statistics books, right? But I always check, just say, you know, better safe than sorry. Okay, so we're going to, this is History of Arindia, first edition. We've got a magnifying glass, which is cool. Right, so there's nothing to be revealed here, but we're going to start, what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start, well, I thought I was going to screenshot, but my hotkeys aren't working at the moment. There we go. Alrighty. So we're going to make a don't think this is revealing anything. Okay. I'm going to move it a little bit out of my way here. And then I'm using the built-in Windows like snippet thing hotkey, but it sometimes doesn't respond and I have to try multiple times or it takes a moment to respond. Okay, Castle Arindia has 1, 2, 3, I think that's 4 total flags. I'm gonna write that down just in case. Or maybe that's 5 flags, because maybe that's a... 1, 2. The thing has 5 flags because I think right there is a flag that's kind of where the pole is, or the, you know, its post is hidden behind the tower. So I'm going to say Castle Orindia has 4 or 5 flags, and I don't know if that's going to be significant or not. And then so we've got like 3 bowls. Don't know significance there. Oh, I should be reading these pages to you. I'm sorry. Let me go back and read to you. The history of Orindia. Ajira to Raja. Now, Ajira is just like an anagram of a Raja. Just pointing that out, right? This book was graciously gifted by Simon P. Jones. Apparently, we buy these books and we give them to the library. I don't know why we do that rather than keep them, but forward. Orindia was once the name used to designate the realms of the eastern waters. Though the term is no longer employed in the halls of politics, nor commonly known to the average citizen, its memory flickers in the hearts of those who hail from the lands that it once encompassed, and many of the elder generation, in hushed circles, still refer to themselves as Orindians. Yet we must not let the flame of our history dwindle into the obscurity of whispered conversations, nor permit our leaders to enjoin us to abandon the name of our land. We must keep alive the embers of our past and preserve them for the generations yet to come. 1. Ajira. Most historians mark the beginning of the first era, often denoted as Ajira, by the ascension of the first king of Orindia, whose name, Oris, would later grace the burgeoning township in which he was crowned. Oris, or Oris, I think Oris, probably, Orindia, Oris, yeah. Oris was known before his coronation as a prominent merchant lord of considerable means and affluence, whose sway in the region made him the ideal candidate for the unification of the surrounding provinces. Regrettably, history is not always forthcoming, and the surviving records of those bygone days are mostly limited to trade agreements and sales receipts. Nevertheless, we can deduce from these ledgers that Oris had but one aim: expansion. The territory spread forth from the heart of Oris, and by the end of the 1st century, the black banners of Orindia could be seen fluttering in every hamlet and hostelry along every thoroughfare from Oris all the way to the western banks. A new kingdom was born. 2. Second era. It was the 4th king of Orindia who split this vast domain in 3 equal shares, 3 realms for his 3 children. To the eldest, he granted the fields and mountains of his great-grandfather, the middle province and heartspring of the kingdom. The eldest accepted the gift and called his new realm Orinda Aries, after the angelic paragon of royalty, Orinda. Okay. To the youngest, he bestowed upon him the realm of Arch Aries, the land of the northern storms, a wild and untamed expanse, which at the time was not is developed, but a good deal more vast than the elder brother's lot. And to his middle child, his only daughter, he gifted her the southern region of Eurasia. The mystical realm of the ancestors, a land steeped in tradition, magic, and poetry of the old tongue. Okay, I'm going to screenshot this and read it. Okay, so third era. As the second era drew to a close, the three sovereign realms had achieved a period of remarkable progress and prosperity. Each of these distinct regions, ruled by their respective sibling monarchs, had blossomed, cultivating the bountiful resources of their land and developing a unique character and culture that set them apart from one another. Despite those differences, the sibling monarchs managed to maintain friendly relations throughout their lives and were known for their cooperation in matters of trade and transportation. The succeeding generations of their heirs continued that tradition, and the third era was defined by the construction of a vast network of railways that spanned the length and breadth of the land, linking the northern mountains of Arch Ares to the southern shores of Eurasia. This development facilitated travel and commerce between the three realms, further strengthening their bond and laying the foundation for the promise of a prosperous and bright future, a promise that would unfortunately, as my readers will soon find, not be kept. And we can clearly see the insignias of the three realms, Arch Ares, Orinda Ares, and Eurasia. Fourth era. Oh, here, let me go back and use the magnifying glass here. I don't think there's anything to be revealed. No. Okay. Fourth era. As the kingdom of Orinda Ares entered the fourth era, so this is the Middle Kingdom, a different kind of ruler took the reins of power. King Desolates III was a king who listened to the voices of all his subjects, from the most influential advisors to the humblest of citizens. He was a king who often was seen among the people, eating, drinking, and conversing, a sight that shocked not only the gentry and the court, but the masses as well, who could scarce believe that they, as peasantry, would ever sup with the crown. Desolates was renowned as the king of the people, and it was therefore a surprise to no one when he made the decision to move the capital from the secluded mountains of Reddington to the public stage of Orus, leaving castle and court behind. The people were overjoyed by this choice, and the city welcomed their king with open arms and great fanfare. Yet not all were swayed so easily. There were those that viewed the king's conduct to be unbecoming of his station, and were wary of how readily he could be persuaded by the tears and tales of the common folk. These dissenting voices planted the seeds of discontent which took root in the lawns and gardens of the nobles of Fen, or as I have been instructed to say, the grand city of Fen. Era 5, Era of Rune. I'm going to get this screenshot. Era 5, Era of Rune. After the passing of King Desolates III, the fourth era came to an abrupt end. Thankfully, the king died naturally in his old age and surrounded by his people in Orus, far away from the growing unrest among the western city of Fen. On the very next day, the 6th of October, the self-proclaimed Prince Learson of Fen declared himself the true monarch. This declaration was bolstered by a surprising number of supporters, due to the fact that Desolates IV shared his father's good name but little of his virtues. As the prospect of civil war seemed inevitable, the realm's regiments were hastily recalled from the frontiers to stamp out and put an end to the Fensurrection. However, instead of restoring order, what ensued was a savage and merciless campaign against their own people. The gardens of Fen, once a center of splendor, were transformed into a battlefield as the cries of the innocent echoed through the city streets stained in red. And we're going to Okay, I'm not seeing much in the way of hidden clues there. Okay. Sorry, it's like I don't know why it sometimes just won't react to the hotkey and take the snippet. Okay. So, the brutality of the pacification of Finn did not go unnoticed by neighbors. As sympathy for the city surged, allies came forward to lend support. Among them was the general of the Northern Regiment, who, sickened by the barbaric actions of the other battalions, joined forces with Prince Learson to form a formidable army. Together, they leveraged their political influence and favors to persuade the nearby realms of Arch Ares and Nuance to join their cause. However, even with the tide turning in Nuance's like to the west, it's a like continent country to the west of Orindia. However, even with the tide turning in their favor, victory did not come easy. The War of the Fifth Era lasted 22 long years and saw buried 1 in every 3 men. Prince Learson himself added another number to the casualties. However, even in death, he had won. Urus had fallen, and with it the realm. The black flags that had flown for 5 eras were burned, and in their place red banners were hoisted in honor of the fallen of Finn. The few remaining members of the former royal family fled in fear of their lives to the south, forever exiled. Okay. 6. The current era. Today, the realms inherited by the 3, Finn, Ares, Arch Ares, and Araja, once again stand united as allies. So basically, Orinda Ares became renamed Finn Ares after the whole rebellion and, whatever. Though the distance between our peoples has grown, our connection to this land remains as strong as ever. The spruce and birch that span across our realms serves as a constant reminder that we all share a common past. And as those trees continue to grow, so do our hopes for a common future. A future where we are not defined by the colors of the banners we raise, but by that which connects us, a land that we each call home. For this is, despite everything else, a land rich in history, a land of myth and wonder, a land that sprung forth the greatest empire the world has ever seen, the land of our fathers, of our mothers, and of our children. This land is, after all that has happened, we're going to find out here in a moment, but I'm going to look at this. I don't think I'm seeing any clues. Okay. Yeah, the magnifying glass is going to be more helpful with a different book. But anyway, still Orindia. The end. So I'm going to take the screenshot, even though I don't really need it. But okay, cool. So we got to read that. We requested the book earlier in the day, and as I correctly predicted, we got to do the library twice. We got to read the book in the same day. It may be, oh, and we get a key. We got a key from the library both times. Okay, nice. Here's the deal. We're going to run out of spots unless we can, break through. And we might not, and we're going to run out of gems. So we might not get the classrooms. We might not get the ballroom. We might not get furnace and freezer. All we might have accomplished, we'll see. But if all we accomplished today was reading that book, and we'll cross-check that the first edition book with the second edition partial copy that we got, that we read from the precipice earlier, and that might give us some clue information. That might be the extent of what we accomplished today, but we'll find out. So I could do a classroom. It would be classroom number 3. It would use my last gem. This is not a good alternative. That ends us, and we can't get through this key card access door. This lets us get to the same place up here, but then it campers us. So we really should just do this and hope for a better draw. But we get to do redraws when we're in classrooms. So that's what we're going to rely upon. So first of all, there's nothing new to screenshot or take notes of here. We're going to grab the apple for certain. I don't see any extra, coins, dice, keys, or anything like that to pick up. So we're just going to move on. And this, we need this to be a good room, but we have some reroll opportunities. So a pantry gives us coins. We don't have a whole lot to spend coins on. We would really like to, we've got numerous redraws. So we'd really like to connect up to the foundation. We'd like something that we would like a 3-way, one that goes through and over here. So I'm going to redraw, because we got many redraws, but only while we're in this room, so might as well. Corridor gets us to the foundation. It doesn't get us over here. Oh, I have no gems. I can't do another classroom anyway. Hallway does not get us to the foundation. Gives us a key, gets us over here. Does not get us to the foundation. Storeroom would dead end us. That would be bad. Hallway. Could it be worth it? I'm going to redraw again. Redraw again. I'm running out of redraws now. Okay. Then gets us a gem and gets us over here. I'm going to do that because I could redraw 3 more times and still not be able to connect up the foundation. But this at least gives us a gem, and we know we need gems. Now, does that, we have a trunk. So if we could afford, we cannot afford, but if we could afford a sledgehammer, go get a sledgehammer, we could open this trunk and, so I'm going to write, then has a trunk to remind myself. Today it does. Doesn't always, but today it does. So this is basically our last chance doorway, and we do not have redraws here. So classroom and pantry both take us in the direction we need to go, as do bedroom. The classroom would use our last gem, but then gives us more redraws. So, and this would be our 4th classroom. So then any classroom after this one, assuming we can get more gems, would be new information. So we're going to go ahead and do this. Although pantry, see, 4 coins is not enough to, 4 coins plus 1 coin is 5 coins, which is not enough for a sledgehammer, which costs 8. So you know what I could do? I could use the key. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do this. But we're going to keep a key in reserve for that trunk. Because if we need gems, we could use a key on that trunk. I always forget I can use keys on trunks. It's generally not how you want to use keys. You want to use keys on locked doors rather than trunks, but you know, if we get desperate, well, keep in mind that we've got, okay. There doesn't seem to be anything extra. I've already taken screenshots of the maps and everything. Yep. The only reason why I'm looking at this further is I've taken this screenshot here. But I haven't necessarily used I've used magnifying glass, but I haven't taken screenshots with the magnifying glass. And it's hard to take a screenshot with the magnifying glass because as soon as I release the magnifying glass, it kind of goes down. So I have to hold it and with my other fingers activate the screenshot capability. So I'm only going to do it if it seems necessary. I does not seem necessary. Based upon, I've been here with magnifying glass before and I took, notes, so I just didn't take screenshots with the magnifying glass, but I don't know that I need to. Okay. Okay, that's a thing. That looks like a thing. Doesn't that look like a thing? Okay, so we're going to try to... Okay. And now I'm going to go back to the other one because if there was that thing that that benefited from a screenshotted magnifying glass, right? I think it does. Then we're going to look for... We're going to take another look at the other one and just make sure that we didn't miss anything in the background art here. Border art. I wasn't paying as close attention to the border art as I maybe should have been. I mean, I've got that's different graduated colors. Okay, I don't think this one has new extra information. I could be wrong. I mean, yeah, I see the symbols and stuff, but I can see the symbols in the original screenshot without the magnifying glass, so... Alrighty. Okay. Enough stalling. This is our only doorway. But we've got a lot of rerolls here. We've got no gems, so we can't do security. Hallway gives us a key, gets us forward, doesn't get us over here, though. Chapel would get us over here, but doesn't get us up. Wow. I don't need the shovel at the moment. Oh, I don't have a gemstone for the courtyard. We will take the pantry. Because I do want to get over here. Before I open that, I need gems. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to backtrack and I'm going to actually just go ahead and spin the key on this chest in the den. Because it won't be my last key. And there might be a key in the trunk. Okay, there is a key. It's the secret garden key. It's not what I wanted. I wanted a gem. Because now the problem I'm going to run into is I could draft a room requiring a gem and I won't be able to do it. But it is what it is. Yep. See, we don't get to do this, so we're going to dead end. This is so frustrating. There's nothing I can do. That's a dead end. That's a dead end. This requires a gem I don't have. I tried. I wanted that trunk to have a gem. I so wanted that trunk to have a gem. We did 4 classrooms. It won't let us get to classroom 5. This is 2 days in a row. We've done classrooms 1 through 4, but never 5. It doesn't matter what either of these rooms do. Because we can't get through this door. This is a access card door. I can't get through it. It doesn't matter. Our day is over. This is so disappointing. Unless this gives us an access card. That has happened in the bedroom, but it did not happen this time. Gives us car keys. Not super useful. Yeah. Oh, this is disappointing. Disappointing. Very short, disappointing day. I just kept doing the classroom and spending my gem as I was getting them. Maybe I should have waited until. But I see, commissary didn't sell me gems today. I have no control over that. I had no control over the fact. I drafted the commissary. I spent a gem drafting the commissary, and it sold me a magnifying glass, which I ended up not really needing today. This wasn't a day that I really needed the magnifying glass, not for the book I was reading. And I got that magnifying glass after I'd already requested a book that I figured wouldn't require a magnifying glass. And I was correct, it didn't. The History of Arendia first edition did not require a magnifying glass because there's not clues hidden in it because it's a history book. It's not the book A New Clue, which is what requires a magnifying glass. And then it just decides to give me a door I can't go through right here. It just decided that. The game cheats. It decided that. I did so many redraws right here and never could connect back up. I mean, I could have done a couple more redraws, but... And then I did the pantry. I could have redrawn some more here, but I was like, I need to get over here. But then this wouldn't give me anything that would let me proceed. Ah, man, that sucks. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to just park right here for a moment. And what I'm going to literally do is look at my History of Arendia between the first and second editions and see yeah, so basically in the second edition, all mention of Arendia or Cain, Desolates the Third or whatever. Have been redacted out. Arendia, Desolates. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the Black Bridge and see if Arendia or Desolates are the secret admin keys, right? The reason being is because I think with the whole Red Guard, there's we're in Fen Aries, by the way, or Arch Aries. Are we in Arch Aries or Fen Aries? I think we're in Fen Aries. Yeah, because we're in Reddington, right? So yeah, we're in Fen Aries. Northern parts of Fen Aries, but regardless, the point being is that I believe our family, or at least our great uncle, is maybe a loyalist to the old, royalty. And the Red Guard is kind of like the, stamp all that from history, blah, blah, blah. kind of thing. So we might be in a secret cabal of, I say cabal, but a secret group of people who, still revere the old royalty of the previous age, right? So Orindia or Orand or Desolates might be significant. And because I can't think of anything else to do. Um, um, Orinda. Ah. Okay. I have all of these wasted steps, 54 steps, and I did so little of the house today. Such a waste. But it is what it is. I'm don't think there's anything I can walk around and do. I can't get through that door. I mean, I'm going to go back and I'll go back this way and just make sure that there's nothing access card wise. It just really stymied me today. The game just really shut me down hard today, in my opinion. Shut me down hard. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to look for. I know there's not a Nexus card in here. There's not a Nexus card here. Yeah, I mean, I can't afford any of that stuff, but even if I could, it wouldn't help. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna just end the day right here. This is disappointing, but we're gonna call this a day. Day 27. A bit of a disappointment. We did get to read History of Orinda edition, or first edition. I don't. If that gave us significant clues, I haven't figured those out yet. I have to compare all the pages. I did a brief. I paused in the one classroom and I just tried to do a brief comparison of what I was seeing. But things aren't really standing out to me. I mean, there's a lot of redacted words that I need to go through, but I don't know that there's a whole lot standing out. Quaint campus, 4 classrooms, library. Total rooms 15. Rank reached 4. Steps taken 47. Items found 2. Oh. Might as well just say, you suck. I am going to save and quit for now, because I'm gonna at least take I'll probably do another one today, real world today, like do 28, day 28, but I might take a break, so I'm gonna save and quit for the moment. And thank you guys. We'll see you for the next day 28.